Hey guys, Sidecrafter here. Today, I am back with another episode of Anime versus Reality, the one podcast where I talk about anime in excruciating detail to the point that I'm basically telling you the entire show. Because no, the details are not sacred here. We go into great detail for it. And once again, we're back with Elfen. Let me just see if there's any birthdays to celebrate. Um, yes, tomorrow of today's recording is Unigasa's birthday. I'm pretty sure I mentioned her birthday last week, which would be up yesterday. So this one is right before her birthday when it's recorded. Sorry, I saw something on Discord. And I was looking at my phone, I saw a message on Discord, and I was just like, because I did something absolutely hilarious related to what happened yesterday with TRScientist. But enough about yesterday. We've got to get into Elfen, where I first initially have to do a disclaimer. And so this is an official disclaimer for Elfen. This show gets really dark. It gets into topics that I can't really talk about without potential flagging from both Twitch or YouTube, because it brings up stuff like euthanasia, sodomy, and also a light mention of seppuku at some points, which is the Japanese word for an honorable death by your own hand. I prefer to use that over the actual English word, which is way worse. But that's the disclaimer out of the way. Let's get into the very content that's gonna have what this disclaimer was for. So we're starting off in episode 5, where we're on the cliff outside the facility, probably the same cliff Lucy fell from at the start of the show. And director Kurama looks out over the ocean after what he had to do to Nana. Shirakawa asks if he feels regret for euthanizing Nana, leading to him exclaiming that those that think regret will make up for their mistake can't be forgiven, which, it's interesting to see that we get, through watching anime, you get so many perspectives of a person, and, the good and the bad, and then you get, the morally in between. Anyways, meanwhile, Yuka finds a note by Mai apologizing for all the trouble she caused them, saying the food was delicious and promising to pay back the hospital fees she owes. Yuka asks Kyoto what they should do, and he suggests they adopt Mai so she's no longer homeless. Okay, that's a good idea. An interesting idea. He realizes it might be difficult and they should try contacting her parents, but Yuka reminds Mayu purposely left home. Yuka says they're going to find Mayu, but Kyoto is more interested in New's interest in the grandfather clock. It's like, she's like, new, because it's not working. Returning to the bakery, the lady says Mayu didn't visit today to get the bread scraps, and asks Kyoto to give her something when they find her. In a flashback, Mayu's mother finds a new partner who quickly shows controlling tendencies by saying she's a good girl for looking at him. He makes her take her clothes off in front of him and get on her hands and knees in heavily implied forced activities. And when May tries to tell her mum what her stepdad does to her in privacy, she instead gets slapped and verbally abused. Yeah. This is what I was mentioning before. And one night, instead of doing what her stepdad wants, she stands up to him and runs away from home, breaking down crying in the middle of a street. Amongst walking around and taking shelter from the rain, she wanders down towards the ocean, planning to take a final swim before Wanta runs towards her, barking. Just lay it on thick. Jeez. Hold on. Why am I here? I feel like I'm hearing something. I'm not hearing. I feel like I'm going crazy. Okay. But presently, May notes that Kata and Yuka were nice, which saddens her because she wishes everyone was like that. Just as a gut punch, Wanta, or James's owner, takes him away from May, and when May asks if she can visit him once a week, the owner looks at the dirty clothes and says no. If things couldn't be more insulting for May, it's her birthday, and now she has no one to boast about it being her birthday with. Yeah, that's gonna suck. Damn it, I lost my... Why do I hear something? I feel like I'm hearing something that I shouldn't be. Anyways, Maya is then found by the police, responding to a report of a girl being around the beach area. Telling her to get out of her hiding spot from the rain, Maya runs away from the police and runs into Kyota, Yuki, and Yu, but her mind thinks it's her stepfather and mother at first. Kyota and Yuka half lie to the police, saying Maya is part of their family and taking her back to Maple Inn, saying she can stay as long as she needs, not caring about her past. Yuka pulls out some cake leftovers from the baker to celebrate Maya's birthday with her. Yu's way of making Maya happy is bringing her a bowl filled, like full on mountain of rice, which is weirdly common. It's weirdly common that happens in anime. But yeah, like a filled rice bowl to eat because she saw her happy during dinner and wants to make her happy again. Maya starts crying and saying she's a bother, not because she's sad, but happy. All while Wanta is outside Maple Inn, having escaped his owner. Good on you, doggo! A few days later, Maya goes to school, excited for the day, while Yuka sleeps on Kyoto's head. Steps on Kyoto's head for sleeping in. Kyoto mentions how simple it was for Maya's mother to hand her over to them without knowing anything about them. He's curious about the backstory, but Yuka reminds him they won't inquire about it, and Yuka says to make sure there'll be no more girls in Maple Inn. Hey, in one situation, it's a homeless girl that you helped. In another situation, it's another girl that you helped. Like, none of this situation is really any of their fault. They're helping others. Yuka says they have classes to get to which Kyoto fakes sleep again, getting another head smush from her. Taking Yu with them to the university, Kyoto tells her to never take off the head bows and reminds her not to say new. Yuka says that their next teacher is a bit weird and has a tendency to ask students questions out of nowhere, and there will be a problem if he picks you. Kyota calls Yuka dumb along with himself since they're surrounded by medical students. But Yuka actually passed. So only dumb one here is Kyota and Nyu. Although with Nyu that's a bit of a weird exception of what's going on. Professor Kakuzawa walks in talking about Stanley Miller's 1952 experiment, asking a student the question of why Miller uses a tungsten electrode. Nyu stupidly puts her hand up and says yes, and drawing Professor Kakuzawa's attention, causing him to freak out, realizing it's Lucy. Kyota and Yuka try to leave with Nyu, but he dismisses the class to talk with the three of them privately. In his office, he lies about Nyu/Lucy being his brother's daughter to Kyota and Yuka, saying they kidnapped her and that he'll take custody of her, saying she needs to be returned to her parents. Kyota understands the situation and tells Professor Kakuzawa to take good care of Lucy, who he still calls Nyu. Suddenly, Nyu calls out Kyota's name, but he still walks away, knowing she has to be returned to her parents. Kyota returns to the scenery of the ocean and explains how he couldn't reply, that it was wrong to keep Nyu with them. He says Nyu can return to her real home, and Yuka says it was fun with her for the short time she was around. They both start crying over losing Nyu. Yeah, if only you knew the truth. Back at the university though, Professor Kakuzawa talks to Lucy about how the declonius frontal lobe is occupied by a giant pineal gland. I think that's how it's pronounced. Which in a normal person is located under the back of the corpus callosum, which is the largest bundle of nerve fibers that allow your left to right and right to left brain communication. I didn't grab a picture of what it was though. But like picture like a giant like rubber ball, or like a rubber band ball almost. The declonius pineal gland controls the vectors, but Professor Kakuzawa is surprised that Lucy's personality has split in two, and that he likes Nyu, and that he likes that Nyu doesn't want to kill people. Professor Kakuzawa prepares to drug Lucy and bring about the end of humans while she's unconscious. Put that in the column of things common with Guilty Crown. Saying there'll be the new Adam Eve. Again, Guilty Crown. Guilty Crown, Elfen Lied, very similar themes, apparently. Yee. Mai is happy to see that Yuka and Kyota are back, but is saddened when she doesn't see Nyu with them. They tell Mai what happened, and she's disappointed that she didn't get to say goodbye to Nyu, asking if it's okay if they can visit her from time to time. Mai expresses she's having doubts about Nyu's family, not buying what Professor Kakuzawa told them. So Kyota and Yuka plan to go see him again. When Mai goes to bed, Yuka asks that if she were to disappear, would Kyota cry for her too? And he doesn't know if he would. Having successfully drugged Lucy, Nyu, and Professor Kakuzawa starts undressing to give Lucy a test ride. I forgot that we have the R word here. No. I missed it in the disclaimer. No. Except we avoid that because Lucy's gone. Looking around, Lucy stands up and announces that he only put New to sleep, asking who he is. Professor Kakuzawa confirms he was the one to free Lucy, sharing the same goal as his father, but without the restraints, trying to convince Lucy to get down and dirty with him. Woo, okay. However, Lucy breaks the glass to the beakers and calls him a foolish monkey, to which Professor Kakuzawa reveals he's a TRScientist too. Instantaneously, he goes on about continuing the species, and Lucy decapitates him on the spot, saying he's not the one she needs. It's like, nah, buddy, you are not going to go anywhere else. Instead, we're going to episode 6. And we're back with Bando, who's got a fully articulate bionic arm in exchange for his, his family jewels. The only side effect is that his vision is yellow, which will clear up. He's given painkillers in preparation for his castration and asks about the limit of the bionic arm, which he tests by punching the doctor. Pleased with the bionic arm, Bando makes his escape by jumping out the second-story window into the bushes. You always aim for the bushes. Meanwhile, Kyoto is worried about New, preparing to go to the school in the middle of the night, and tells Yuka to stay at Maple Inn because she has had a bath. Professor Kakuzawa's research partner returns to their office and finds him missing, discovering New's ribbon. Kyoto accidentally scares her and asks if Professor Kakuzawa is around. She says he's probably in the lab underground, leading Kyoto down there, asking why he's there to see Professor Kakuzawa. Kyoto admits a half-truth to hide New's identity, but she completely understands what he's talking about. Mentioning Professor Kakuzawa's younger brother, she reveals that he lied to Kyoto. Nadoi! Of course he would lie. Out on the street, a female student complains to herself, not compares to herself, about how bad her part-time work is, and that her boss just stares at her behind. Unfortunately for her, she comes across Lucy, who unleashes her vectors on the poor girl. Yeah, that's one way to just get out of a bad job. Back at the underground lab, Kyoto asks what Professor Kakuzawa's research is, and she explains that he's researching a strange disease that makes horns appear on people's heads, which surprises Kyoto. However, she doesn't reveal what the next stage of the infection is after the horns, instead directing Kyoto to the lab. Lucy is annoyed that what she did to the female student didn't do what she wanted, with it unclear if the girl is dead or not. So, she might still have a bad boss to go back to. That's never good. Exploring the lab and going through another door deeper in, the two find Professor Kakuzawa's decapitated body and head on the floor. She immediately recognizes the style of killing as the Diclonius kill, and that Lucy got away, but doesn't know why Professor Kakuzawa has horns. Explain that those with horns are quarantined and killed, or end up dead in the style Professor Kakuzawa was killed. Seeing the scene and thinking of New triggers a painful memory in Kyoto, and goes home on her request. So that whole thing of going to the school was just for him to see that. Which While terrifying, it doesn't really do much to the... Well, it does a fair bit to the story, but also not much because for Kota's blocked up brain from memories. Back at Maple Inn, Yuka is under the belief that Professor Kakuzawa and New weren't at the school. He tries to yell at Yuka that Professor Kakuzawa was killed, but the stress of the memory and the death of Professor Kakuzawa makes him forget everything he saw. Yeah, see, back to square one. He announces he's going to bed, almost like his body has gone into autopilot, his mind in preservation mode. Over at the facility, Director General Kakuzawa learns that his son is dead from Director Kurama, knowing he was killed by Lucy. Angrily, Director General Kakuzawa asks what Director Kurama has been doing until now, who explains he has disposed of Nana and been searching the area for anyone suspicious. Director General Kakuzawa brings up the Silplet Diclonius and how important they are to Director Kurama, who is peeved that Lucy essentially killed Nana. But to Director General Kakuzawa, they're just a minor loss of research expenses. Outside the office, Director Kurama tells Shirakawa there was no change in Director General Kakuzawa's expression at the news of his son's death. Shirakawa asks Director Kurama about what happened to his family, and his answers that his daughter is dead by his own hands, unfortunately scoring a seppuku bonus with his own wife at the site of what happened. All of which shocks Shirakawa into silence. That's a shocker of a sentence to drop. I tried to lighten the blow on it. You can't really lighten the blow on that type of thing easily. The next morning, Kyoto is up early to look for New, mentioning she escaped and Professor Kakuzawa without mentioning his death, saying that it's a feeling. Yuka decides to join Kyoto in searching for New, telling Mayu they'll find New and that New has found her way home before. Down at the beach, Mayu sees Banda going to talk to him, which surprises him that he was saved by her of all people. Not wanting to be in debt to her, Banda asks what she wants, writing his phone number, and says he'll protect her from anyone that tries to harm her. He randomly asks if Mayu has seen a woman with horns around the area, to which she mentions New. With it raining up on the mountain trail, Kyoto and Yuka are forced to seek shelter and stop searching for New. Finding a shrine to wait out the rain in, Kyoto notices Yuka is cold and hugs her to keep her warm. Yuka finally works up the courage to ask if Kyoto likes her before realizing she had asked that. Instead of a negative reaction, Kyoto is disappointed he doesn't remember the last part from the past apart from the fact that he did like her. When he says he still likes her, Yuka gives Kyoto a kiss, like they are not cousins, which shocks Kyoto. Cousin kiss. That was stupid. Back down at the beach, Bando attacks Mayu for information on New, revealing he came back to kill New. Mayu doesn't know. Mayu says she doesn't know anything, saying Kyoto saw someone with horns at school. He hits Mayu for having such a convenient explanation ready because she called New by name. Mayu uses her own note of protection against him, forcing him to let her go, telling her to never let him see her face again. Yuka says she doesn't want Kyoto to forget and doesn't want to be apart from him, that she's fine with how he treats her. Kyoto kisses her back as the rain stops, and in their reaction to the rain stopping, Yuka falls out of his lap and accidentally exposes her underwear. Because it has to happen once in the anime for no reason. Which earns Kyoto a punch for looking, which is not intentional. Yuka nearly slips in the puddle and Kyoto saves her, reminding her that it's usually slippery after raining. Yeah, so you can't really blame him for, accidental moments like that. It's so ridiculous. They make a plan to go search the train station, which is disrupted when they hear New's footsteps. Lucy does try to leave, but Kyoto catches up to her, surprised that she has relearned coherent speech. Yuka catches up to them and grabs hold of Kyoto's hand, which triggers Lucy into pushing her away with her vectors. Seeing Kyoto care for Yuka, it reminds Lucy of Kyoto and Yuka when they were kids, wanting to leave again and go home now that she remembers everything. Kyoto yells at Lucy that she has nowhere to go, so she says she'll make her own home. He tells her that Maple Inn is her home now, which makes Lucy start crying, saying she has no right to be together with Kyoto, almost revealing what she did 8 years ago. Come on, give us the juicy lore! This triggers a memory in Kyoto about Kane, as Lucy's mind resorts back to New's personality. New asks for a hug from Kyoto, which Yuka allows with annoyance, as New remembers when she and Kyoto were playing together as kids, in a stream as kids. Yuka remembers getting angry at the prolonged... Yuka gets angry at the prolonged hug, slapping Kyoto again. Again, not a reason to slap someone. On a hidden nook of the beach, a pod opens to reveal an alive Nana, and that Director Kurama went against Director General Kakuzawa's orders to kill her. He helped her escape, giving her new arms and legs and some money to support Nana's life on the mainland for a while. Her new lease on life is quickly interrupted by Bando aiming a gun at her after seeing her horns and demanding answers. I love how quick she goes from like, I can actually walk again, to straight up gun aimed at her head. That's one way to be reintroduced into life. With episode 7, we pick up straight up on that confrontation, as Nana says that Bando couldn't beat her even if there were 100 of him, but since Director Kurama told her to be a good girl, she won't kill him. She keeps walking, to which Bando shoots her, revealing his gun shoots 50 caliber tungsten bullets that don't burst like 9mm parabellums, which was the, fun fact, that was the subtitle, part of the reason that John Wick had the subtitle Parabellum in in the third movie, I think it was, because Parabellum is a 9mm bullet. Bando steps closer, believing he's out of range of Nana's vectors while aiming at her. Back at Maple Inn, Kyoto looks for wonder, finding that New let him loose to go for a run. Yuka and Mo make dinner, with Mo happy with New's return, but Yuka getting frustrated with New's playfulness. Remembering Mo has homework, Yuka tells Mo that she can go do it, but Mo wants to help with dinner. Looking in the direction of Kyoto and New, Yuka goes to get them to help with setting up the table for dinner. All the while, Maya wonders if she should warn Yuka and Kyoto about Bando hunting New. Which, yeah, that would make a really good choice to do. Like, by the way, this girl is getting hunted by a guy with a gun. Bando continues demanding answers from Nana and what she means by hundreds of men. He mentions the coincidence of two horned girls being in the Inashima area, allowing Nana to figure out he's talking about Lucy. Seeing this as an admission of knowing each other, Bando shoots Nana's arm, making her ask why he's attacking an innocent girl. She just wants to live a peaceful life, only for Bando to kick her down and call her a monster and that the Clonai, mankind's enemy for just existing. He brings up how there is no one else in the world like the Clonai, and that's because they're spawn killed, and Nana is only alive because she's a test subject, that she carries a virus that will destroy humanity. This breaks Nana, asking why she was born, making a choice to destroy the world, and turns murderous against Bando, kicking up a sandstorm. But spawn killed? Oh my gosh. Again, me trying to put it lightly just comes up with spawn killed. Ugh. Oh my gosh. Over dinner at Maple Inn, Kyoto tries to learn where New was when they were searching for her. New doesn't have a good answer, but Yuka reminds him to be happy that New is back home, which he is happy for, but something about it bothers him. New walks towards Bando, which excites him with the fight he wants, keeping his distance and shooting Nana's limbs, which has no effect. Bando continues running up the beach, reveling in the fact that there's nothing she can use as a weapon against him, wanting Nana to surrender. Instead, Nana keeps approaching, much to his chagrin, before firing her artificial arm at him, knocking him back and his gun away. Bando dives for his gun, but Nana blocks the gun, revealing her factors are longer than Lucy's. She stands on his arm and mocks him for losing his weapon, which reminds him of Lucy when she was on top of him. Bro getting topped by two girls. He pulls out a second gun, shooting Nana in the head while simultaneously ruining his own artificial arm. The sight of her own blood breaks Nana out of her murderous rage, and she cries for director Kurama. She asks Bando about his artificial arm, and he screams that her friend, Lucy, took his real arm, but Nana says she's not friends with Lucy, and explains that she took her arms and legs. Bando figures they have a common enemy. Yeah, anyone that steals your limbs is a common enemy, really. And Nana reveals that the Clonai can sense each other by the fact that Lucy is not near the beach. Nana suggests they work together to kill Lucy, but Bando refuses her offer, ignoring the fact that Nana can find her easily. It's like, bro, you got a walking radar, you gotta ignore it. He does say that she can contact him by cell phone while she reattaches her arm, but Nana doesn't know what a cell phone is. She offers him her hand to get up, only for her arm to pop off, causing him to fall on his back again. It's like, is this a joke? It's only a joke to those that find it funny. At the facility, Director General Kakuzawa notes that Director Kurama let Nana escape, which enrages him whilst saying that Diclonius are just worker bees. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Supeliot? I'm taking a moment here. I'm taking the moment here. I need to find out actually how to pronounce this. Sipilet? What? Sipilet. I did not know that. Sipilet. Sipilet. That's wild. He says that they only think about killing, especially if Lucy is still alive. Shirakawa puts forward an idea that Director Kurama thinks of Nana as his own child, as a replacement for his lost daughter that had the Declonius virus. Hearing this puts a smile on Director General Kakuzawa's face, saying he'll delay Director Kurama's punishment. What the? Meanwhile, Director Kurama looks at a photo of him with his pregnant wife, which he has alongside a photo of Kisaragi and a file that says Nana is deceased, wanting her to survive. I don't think I pronounced deceased right, because it's similar to disease. Why do we have to have deceased as in dead and then disease as in infected? They're both very similar. On the mainland, Nana's lack of real-world knowledge lets her down again, seeing money as paper and realizing she's hungry. Yep. I'm so rich, I don't know what to do with the money. Taken in by the delicious smell of crepes, and tries to... She's taken in by the smell of crepes, and tries ordering one, not realize she has a lot more money than 500 yen. Seeing two girls pay for crepes, she tries again before walking away, attracting more attention to her dirty clothes over her horns. Which, honestly, how do you not be like, hold up, she has horns? Kyota and Yu help Yuka with the dishes after dinner by bringing them to her, while May took Wanta on a walk. While on a walk, May goes to call Bando when Wanta suddenly runs to the cemetery Lucy and Nana's last fight happened. Nana is at the cemetery, remembering that this is where she lost to Lucy last time, afraid she won't see Director Kurama again. Wanta and Yu find Nana, which confuses May because she saw the horrific fight, but thinks it's a dream once again. Maya then faints upon seeing Nana's leg detach and reattach right in front of her. It's like, oh! New once again takes an interest in the grandfather clock, and Katsu says it's been broken for ages, bringing the focus back to how she escaped the professor, which brings back the memory of his severed head. Meanwhile, May wakes up from her fainting spell, and Nana says that she and Wanta were worried for her the entire time. They return to Itatoba Nana used to make a bed for May, which she did without knowing what they were. It's like, I love how clueless, I love how clueless Nana is to the world. It just makes her cute. in the, "Yo, you're a cute idiot" type of way. Mayu asks about Nana's leg and horns, saying they're cute, and Nana agrees too. Nana asks Mayu to be friends with her, saying she grew up at an institution and so doesn't know anything about the outside world. She's fine with being hungry and homeless, but believes she couldn't last if she was alone. Back at the campfire, Mayu is surprised to see Nana burning money, surprised at how much is burned, and asking where it came from. Nana explains that Papa gave it to her when she left the institution, but she'd rather have a 500 yen coin. Mayu makes a lie to Nana that having a lot of money on you is dangerous, because as you're sleeping, it'll attack you. Before she reveals she lied about that and how Nana lied about knowing money. As they gather the money, Nana says they should spend it all on food, to which Mayu shouts that she shouldn't, and says she's envious of the person that gave Nana all this money. Mayu brings up Bando's attempt to hunt down New, but all that does is reveal Nana to Nana that New is Lucy. She continues to say that New lives at the same place she's staying at, and mentioning the detail of New having horns like Nana. Kyoto goes to search for Mayu, while New launches a playful attack from behind on Yuka's chest. Of course, leaving Kyoto to wonder why New did that. Mayu and Nana are just outside Maple Inn, and Nana doesn't sense any presence. As soon as Kyoto steps out and sees Nana, he bombards her with questions before Mayu gets a chance to explain that Nana is here to see New. Mayu explains that Nana is hungry, so Kyoto offers her some leftover dinner. However, the front door is still stuck until New flings it open, and Nana, recognizing Lucy, attacks without warning. Instant attack. It's not that effective. Seeing Nana attack New, everyone races to New's care, and Kyoto slaps Nana for attacking New. Asking why she attacked New, Nana's confused why no one can see New as the evil Lucy, that she's not the evil one. New falls unconscious and Nana runs away crying, with Mayu following to try to return her money bag. Nana tells her to keep the money bag and tries to run away again, losing her arm in the process from Mayu grabbing onto it. The two end up at a nearby shrine, with Mayu questioning why she attacked New out of nowhere, and why she called New Lucy. A helicopter lands at the research facility with Professor Kakuzawa's partner, of which we'd never learn her name in this anime. All we know about her is that she worked with Professor Kakuzawa, and she's always wearing a lab coat, and she always has glasses, and she rarely showers. I wish I was joking about that last one, but she brings it up constantly. Yep. Yeah, so she gets out of the helicopter and is suffering from motion sickness, so it's like, ooh, she's not a good flyer. Yeah, you're not gonna enjoy going back to the mainland after that. Shirakawa brings her inside quickly, and she asks why she had to bring whatever is in the bag, saying it's almost like a kidnapping and questioning her own stench. Case in point to her talking about her own stench. The bag contains Professor Kakuzawa's head, and now that she brought it to Director General Kakuzawa, he pulls his gun on her and shoots her for knowing of the horns. Nana tells May that about Nana tells May about everything about Lucy, including her escape and her fight with Nana, and May says it's unbelievable, so Nana shows May her vectors. Meanwhile, Director General Kakuzawa only shot Professor Kakuzawa's partner in the shoulder because he wants to know who the second person to see the horns was. She remembers there was someone else, a student, but luckily for Kyoto, she doesn't remember Kyoto's face or name before collapsing from blood loss. That's why you don't shoot people in the arms before you got your information. You're gonna end up with blood on your floor and no information. While in her own blood, she does remember that the student was looking for a girl Professor Kakuzawa took claim of. He tells Shirakawa to call in a medical emergency at his office, telling her she'll be taking over the position of his son. Back with Nana, she demonstrates the strength of her vectors by slicing a Jizo statue in half, regarding them as invisible hands. She also shows that her vectors are hands by picking up her artificial arm and attaching it, making May realize that the fight she saw between Nana and Lucy was real, and that Bando was telling the truth. Took you a while there, May. Like, whew, you were really not the brightest. Although she is a young teen, so excusable, I guess. And she is a young teen. She's not like a little kid. Nana says she's nothing like Lucy because realizing she just violated Director Kurama's rule of keeping her Decolonius secret. Yeah, she's like upset that she revealed the secret and like. Also, I just realized that sentence makes no sense. I think that because was supposed to be before or something. May explains that New isn't evil. I'm naturally happy, always having fun, and has never shown her vectors. Nana is certain New is Lucy, but without the presence of Lucy, noting she could beat her easily in this state, but doesn't want to fight someone that doesn't hurt her. Back at Maple Inn, Kyoto and Yuka take care of New, who seems to be running a fever, probably from getting smashed into a wall. Yuka suggests taking her to the hospital, but Kyoto remembers if they do that, New will be killed. New starts waking up, but Nana knows it's actually Lucy, who has reawakened thanks to their connection. Director Kurama expresses his disapproval of Director General Kakuzawa's inviting Professor Kakuzawa's partner to the facility. These sentences get confusing because I wanted to keep the titles that they have at their jobs. So, yeah, you get sentences like that that's just like, whew, okay. Mentioning that she knows his son's research, Director Kurama says that the Outer Research Center knows only about the retrovirus vaccine development. However, Director General Kakuzawa is interested in the Decolonius virus itself, seeing Lucy as the key to rebirth for humanity. Director Kurama questions how sane Director General Kakuzawa is, which makes him remind Director Kurama of his debt to him. He reveals he also knows that Director Kurama let Nana live and plans to release number 35 to terminate Nana and retrieve Lucy. What is up right now? That banana is coming back up to say hello in burp form. Kyoto asks New if it hurts anywhere, not realizing it's actually... I don't know why I said it's. Kyoto asks New if it hurts anywhere, not realizing she's actually getting up and leaving. Lucy mutters about passing out and saying she's going to kill Nana before collapsing again and being carried back to the futon bed. Yuka goes back to her house to find some medicine for New's fever, while Lucy looks annoyed that Yuka is saying that. Kyoto promises he'll stay at New's side, telling her to sleep, but not knowing how to reduce her fever. Lucy's mind slips into her backstory, remembering when she lived at the orphanage, where she had many fevers to the point of the attendants openly talking about it when they thought she couldn't hear them. They regard her as not normal because of her horns, and talk about how none of the other kids want to share a room with her either. Deciding to go outside, Lucy collapses on the dirt when she's greeted by a puppy that she tells that she's used to being alone. During the day at the orphanage, a group of kids bully Lucy by pouring milk on her school bag and pushing and tripping her over, because kids are the absolute worst. When Lucy tries to get up, one bullier, Tomu, uses an umbrella to trip her again, calling her a demon's child, stopping when another girl lets the teacher know what's going on. Lucy says that all the children at the orphanage are miserable, that they seek someone worse off than them. The girl has noticed that Lucy is always alone, saying Lucy can share anything that troubles her with her. That night, Lucy sneaks out again to feed the puppy, and warns the puppy against going near the orphanage. She wouldn't be able to handle it if she didn't have the puppy, and knowing she's too weak to protect it. While sleeping, she dreams of extending her arms out and having invisible arms, which seems to be real by all the handprints covering every surface of her room. It's just like all the hands everywhere. No wonder why no one wants to share a room with her. Lucy decides to tell the girl about the puppy she found in the woods, which she stupidly blurts out before realizing she needs to keep it secret. The girl promises to give it some of her lunch too, saying she always has leftovers. Tomo shows up once again to torment Lucy, revealing that they found the puppy. Seeing Lucy upset, one of Tomo's gang restrains Lucy, and Tomo wants to see her cry, or they'll hurt the puppy. Lucy instead kicks Tomo, so he orders his friend to abuse the puppy, which he does by kicking the puppy across the room and beating it to death with a vase. I am sorry if you're watching this at any point. This is going on the Does the Dog Die? This would make it on the the dog dies on the doesthedogdie.com. Lucy's friend runs and tells them to stop beating the puppy, only for it to be revealed she told them about the puppy, breaking Lucy completely. What happens next is absolutely fair. It's totally a John Wick sort of moment. With the blood running and the bullies laughing, Lucy thinks she sees her friend smiling and calls them inhuman. In her anger, Lucy's vectors explode the kid restraining her, and the aftermath shows the other three decapitated. She buries the puppy outside the orphanage and apologizes that this happened, or because she was different. That's when she hears the Lilium music box and turns to see Kyoto for the first time. I wish I could end this stream here, but no, we still have one more episode to get through because this season is 13, so we got more Lucy backstory to go through and whatever else is coming our way. But oh, the dog dying. Oh, it doesn't make me cry. It's just it makes me upset though that happened in the story. Like, I make jokes in the podcast all the time. There's no way you can make a joke about puppy death. In fact, I probably should stop mentioning that, because, well, it's not good. Anyways, moving on to episode 9. Lucy and Kyoto stare at each other for a moment, but he clocks she was staring at the music box because she thought it was a beautiful melody. Noticing Lucy's horns, Kyoto asks if they're real, not because he was going to make fun of her, but because they're cool, which stops her attack. She stays on the defensive, saying they've only caused her trouble in her life. Kyoto doesn't care though, and wanting to be friends with Lucy, that she turns down, remembering the girl that betrayed her. Lucy announces she detests humanity, which Kyoto doesn't understand, yelling his name at Lucy and that he'll be back tomorrow. I agree with Lucy. Humans, we suck. Like, most humans suck. Later that night, the news reports on the murder of the orphanage kids while Lucy showers off in a random house, whose residents she killed. Returning to the puppy's grave, Kyoto doesn't show up due to the weather. Lucy hides from 2 policemen searching for her, almost adding to her starting kill count, until they leave due to the rain. She sits in the rain, believing Kyoto won't show up, until he shows up putting a hat on her to hide her horns. He even got an injury trying to sneak out to meet with her, explaining he fell from a tree. It's like, ooh. I love how, like little kids, they're weak, but they're also resilient in ways that you don't expect. Like, Kyoto falls from a tree, still gets up and goes right back to the forest. Like, the same location. Because he was going to meet her. The two take shelter from the rain, and Kyoto asks why she was at that tree, accepting with ease that she had no reason. Her question back to him is why he asked to be friends with her, and his answer is that he likes to draw. He's also happy that Lucy likes the music box song too. With how cold it is, Kyoto moves closer to Lucy to keep each other warm, making Lucy blush, and she thanks him for the hat. The rain finally stops and Kyoto asks to hang out with Lucy again as he goes home. As soon as he's gone, the policemen from earlier bump into Lucy and tell her to go home due to the curfew. Finding a random house, Lucy kills the family, including the husband when he returns later. 3 days pass without an appearance from Kyoto, and when he appears again and Yell asks if she was waiting for him, which she tries to deny. Kyoto is here to say goodbye to Lucy, wanting to hang out all day, but she's not impressed by the idea of going to a zoo because of what the orphanage kids called her. Her opinion of zoo changes quickly when she's introduced to the animals, and fails to hide from Kyoto. When she sees a giraffe, she's just like, "Whoa!" And the elephant, "Yeah!" I love Kid Lucy is amazing because of how little she knows about zoos. He offers her an icy treat to eat and walks around holding her hand, and she asks when he'll be going back tomorrow, and learning he's taking a night train after going to a festival with his cousin. While Kyoto is looking at the zoo zone, figuring what to do next, Lucy overhears about the murders she has caused, realizing what she has done. Her mind says she needs to kill again, to find another place to stay. Manifesting mannequins and bandaged versions of herself that say she was born to kill humans. She plays it off as being too hot to Kyoto, who catches her yelling at herself, and Kyoto suggests a cooler place, taking Lucy to a stream. At the stream, Lucy says she likes the cool water, when Kyoto splashes her in the face with water. In response, Lucy pushes him over, asking if he got any cleaner, leading into a water battle where they get so wet they have to dry their clothes on rocks. Yeah, we get a bit of a naked kid scenes, but tastefully shot, at least. Kyoto suddenly starts humming Lilium when Lucy interrupts him to tell him that today was the most fun she ever had, while Kyoto gets embarrassed by seeing Lucy naked and leaning her head on him. Hot girl awkwardness. But that's a little kid. Can't say that. I did just say that, so... Back on the bus, Lucy asks if she can come to the festival with Kyoto, but he explains that he's already promised his cousin to go with her. If it wasn't for the promise, he'd go with her. But she says not to worry about it, asking if his cousin is a girl, only for a question to be interrupted by a bump in the road. Her mind is almost certain that Kyoto is going with a girl to the festival, and tells her to kill Kyoto before he breaks her heart. Breaking out of her mental state, Lucy finds herself strangling Kyoto to death, stopping and asking a favour of him. If she ever kills a lot of people, she wants Kyoto to kill her. Oh, that's a sentence. At the staircase view of the ocean, Lucy and Kyoto tell each other that they had fun, humming Lilium together. Lucy gets it back around to the question of whether Kyoto's cousin is a boy or girl, and Kyoto lies that his cousin is a boy. She promises to say goodbye to Kyoto at the train station tomorrow night before running off. The next day, at the puppy's grave, Lucy says she'll confess her feelings to Kyoto at the festival, only to see Kyoto being hugged by his cousin, learning that she's a girl. Awkward! Suddenly pushed by a rude festival goer, Lucy's mind bombards her with visions of Kyoto saying he'd never love a girl with horns, and he loves strange animals. This is followed by a headless Tomu saying that she's not human and that this world has no place for her. The puppy lays lifeless before her as her friend mocks her for being stupid and trusting her, as Lucy notes she doesn't have anything anymore. Her evil personality comforts her and urges her to change the world into her world, saying she has the power to do that. A crowd has gathered around Lucy's mumbling body, as in her mind she says goodbye to Kyoto, removing the hat he gave her to reveal her horns. Unleashing her killer instinct, Lucy slices the people around her in half with her vectors, with the people around thinking it was a bomb. She even kills someone that tries to help her with a decapitation, not caring if she was helping or not. Kanae sees that Lucy is killing people, but her family doesn't believe her. All while Lucy watches and thinks about how Kyoto is a liar. Presently, Lucy wakes up to the sounds of Kyoto and Yuka arguing about how to make rice porridge. Outside, Nana confirms that New is Lucy, knowing how quiet it is inside. Thinking Lucy killed Kyoto and Yuka, when Lucy steps out to confront Nana. And that's where episode 9 ends. We've survived the backstory. We've learned quite a lot in episode 9 with the whole dead puppy. That I really should stop going on about that. And also, the festival was really what broke Lucy in the end. Okay, but that's the last episode of that I'm going to be covering on this podcast episode. So for YouTube, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. That was just full of all the bad stuff. Just absolutely chockers full of bad stuff. Links will be in the description to both the channels and the Twitch for you guys to go check out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding. I'm SciCrafter out.